Hi, Luke. We're here today, and many of the people out there are increasingly getting inspired by your story. And today they are going to get to know a little bit more about you. So, first of all, what's it like in Pakistan, specifically in Islamabad, and how long have you been here for?
Well, it's great to be here, Gul. Thank you so much. It's been like a whirlwind, Pakistan. There's just like so much has happened over the last 3 weeks. I've been here 3 weeks. I've been in Pakistan, in Islamabad for maybe 5 days. And when I was here for the first 2 days, I thought this city is like pretty chaotic, like things are, just like motorbikes zipping everywhere. There's, sort of like food stalls by the side of the road, guys grilling their corn, you've got some guy with the bananas. And I love all of this. And it was only when I came back to Islamabad, having gone from Kunjarab and cycled all the way through like Chilas, Mansura, Gilgit-Baltistan, came back to Islamabad, that I really appreciated what everyone was telling me, that this is the most orderly, calm, sort of structured place in Pakistan.
Comparatively, yes,
Comparatively.
Because this is the capital, so of course it has to be this way. Anyway, so Lahore on the 23rd. So what is your plan basically? Have you decided to just head and be wherever you're going? Is it going to be spontaneous, or have you done your research where you're exactly going?
I mean, I tend not to do oodles of research.
Okay.
I know that I'm aiming for Lahore. I guess I know I'm going on the Grand Trunk Road. I know that I need to be in Lahore on Sunday because we're going to a polo match.
Oh.
So that's kind of, for me, that's like quite cool.
So that's all you know for now?
That's all I know. Like, that's what I know about between here and Lahore. In Lahore, that we got a load of stuff planned. We're visiting like the Shaukat Khanum hospital.
Yeah.
And quite a few different schools there and giving talks. But between Islamabad and Lahore, nah, don't really know what's going to happen.
That's great. I think the spontaneous plans are the best, where you don't know what's going to happen and then eventually it turns out really good. The 3 words that come to your mind now that you have visited and seen quite a big chunk of this country.
Mountains is still there, definitely. Chai is a new one on the list.
We run on chai. This country runs on chai.
Oh, it does. And like really sweet chai as well. Like, what's really funny is that when we arrived in Islamabad, having done a big cycle, we did this diabetes awareness ride, which is great. Like, everyone is talking about how important it is to have a good diet and exercise, and we cycle around the Fatima Jinnah Park, and then we get back in the refreshments. Can you guess what the refreshments were?
I mean, I already know, but I would like to hear it from you.
I mean, it's these like slices of cake, these really delicious kind of nut-drenched desserts, and like the tea was so sweet. And I was like, this is delicious, but for a diabetes like awareness day, the amount of sugar, like,
I think it's probably a reminder of how much you need to stay away from things like that. I mean, to look at it from that perspective.
Oh, okay. You're more charitable than I am. So,
I mean, to each their own. I mean, you can look at it whichever perspective you want to. But I understand. I know that that's a little funny thing to look at when you were at a diabetes awareness event.
Yeah, it was good fun. I think my 3rd word is, and it is I say it with a little bit of reluctance, but it is police escorts, because for about a week we had a police escort of these like really nice, Pakistani guys who are in the police force, and most of the time they're on motorbikes, but they were just, they're just riding along with us.
And does that get annoying, or is that interesting to you?
No, it's interesting. I find it interesting because we felt very safe, right? We felt really safe, and every time we met someone, it was amazing. It was lovely. People are inviting us for tea when the bike breaks down. We're only like stopped for about 2 minutes before someone comes along and tries to help and like fixes it with some wire, like amazing. But we had these police escorts, and it's kind of like, I know they're there for, just in case, just to make sure nothing happens. But it was also a little strange. It's not happened before.
Yes, but of course, I mean, people over here are like that. We're much more inclined to be really kind and just be there for those that we feel like are foreign in this country, specifically. And otherwise, even if you're not a foreigner and if you're somebody who's here and if you ask for help, I mean, of course, the intensity might not be as much as a foreigner gets, but otherwise, any normal person, if you ask for help, everyone is there, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to the next question?
Let's go for it.
All right. You have seen almost most of the beautiful parts of Pakistan, or most of the Pakistan. Would you say 10 out of 10 would recommend?
Yeah, definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, that's great. So you're from the UK, and by any chance, do you have love for cricket?
Yeah, I do really like cricket, actually. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Because in the semi-finals, it was expected that England was going to make it to the finals, and then both of our teams crashed out. How did you take that? How did you feel about it?
It was pretty disappointing. That New Zealand, England were looking set to win that match until I can't remember. The final few overs. And then I think it was Guptill, if my memory serves. Just turned on the heat, smashed some sixes around. Yeah, and then we're out.
And then you guys are out. Where did you watch the match? In Pakistan?
Oh yeah, I was in Pakistan. I was watching all of the T20 World Cup in Pakistan, starting in Sost, right? So near the Khunjrab Pass, that's where I was starting to watch it. And it was amazing because
the view and then the match and the intensity and everything.
Yeah, and everyone crowding around it. I think that was to me the best bit, that you've got everyone just watching the match. And that's something that you can kind of share. They didn't speak very much English. I speak no Urdu, and so we couldn't communicate that much, but we could be like, that was a good six, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you would just nod your head, look at them, and then they would reciprocate the feeling.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is cricket as big in England as it is in Pakistan?
So, cricket is definitely is one of the most popular sports in England, but I think in England we just have there's a lot of competition. Football is undoubtedly the most popular sport. I don't like football. Everyone thinks that because you're English, you should like football. I don't. Football, rugby, cricket, Formula One.
Yeah,
that's pretty popular.
That's pretty popular, yes.
Mike, any help? I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, football, rugby, cricket, Formula One. Those are going to be the big sports. And cricket's part of it, but not everyone plays it. It's actually I don't know. Probably 20% of the population cares about cricket.
20%, which is good. But other than England's cricket team, what other teams did you feel played really well in the tournament, if you've watched?
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize I was going to get tested about the cricket.
No, it's not really a test.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking, don't worry. I should have paid more attention. I mean, I don't have an amazing answer for this. I was very, it was great to see how well Pakistan did. We were all really hoping for an England-Pakistan final.
Oh, we also had, some of us, our friends, we also had suspected that maybe Pakistan and England are going to make it to the finals specifically, but that didn't happen. So I guess you would say New Zealand had a really good team because they beat England.
Yeah, but I think the surprise was Australia, right? Because they came in having lost the last two series that they'd played. They were meant to be out, just out.
Yeah, but I was rooting for the underdogs in the finals, which was the New Zealand, because those poor guys hadn't won anything in a very long time.
And we deprived them of the last thing, kind of a bit jammily, but we still won.
But it's okay. There are going to be more World Cups in the future, and then more shows that the cricket teams are going to put. Let's move on to the next question. Very interesting. It's about football. I think you're gonna like this one.
You've got me as I'm your wrong man. But let's go for it.
But no, hear me out. So I'm going to read out a comment that we got on one of those videos that we posted about you on our Instagram.
Okay.
And the comment said, "You guys forgot the part where he plays left back for Manchester United. With that duty, how do you manage cycling and football at the same time?"
Yeah, it's pretty tough, I have to say. Yeah. I mean, we all know that, Premier League footballers, they have a jet-setting lifestyle. A couple of days ago, I was on the plane back to the UK. I had a match, and it's difficult to combine the two. But I manage. I've got a really good team around me, and what I really find is that the football, it keeps my fitness really high. And the thing is that no one actually sees me between the cities, right?
Because you possibly have extra you have teleportation superpowers, basically. So you teleport really fast between cities and countries.
That's that sort of thing, but what it's really about is that I'm here in Islamabad right now.
Yeah.
But do you know I actually cycled the whole way, or maybe I was actually back in England playing?
I do actually. I believe that. Yes.
So yeah, I'm a bit jet lagged, to tell the truth.
Is that why you're having your tea?
That's why I'm having the tea.
That's getting you through the interview.
Exactly. And I've got another match in a second, so I've got to get back for it.
Oh, this is epic. I'm so glad I asked you that question. I'm sure you must have at least developed a little bit of liking for football now that you have a name similar to one of the football players.
I thought we'd established I am a Premier League footballer. I love it.
Oh, sorry. I was still in that conception. I'm sorry. Okay. How much of Urdu have you learned so far? Because we talked about it in the beginning.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
कैसे है?
मैं ठीक हूँ. आप कैसे हैं?
No, ठीक है.
ठीक है.
चाय है?
चाय है आपके पास पड़ी. आप पी रहे हैं चाय?
Yeah. No.
अच्छी चाय है? चाय अच्छी लगी आपको?
Yes. Very good.
Very good.
That's where we end.
So if you want to learn something right now, you can ask me and I'll help you with it.
Okay. Oh, I've got a few more. So Pakistan Zindabad.
Yes.
Zabardast.
Zabardast, yes.
Zabardast. Okay. Now, the one thing that I really try and say is, in every language, is I'm cycling from Bristol to Beijing. I'm cycling from Bristol to Beijing, and I'm on a tandem bike, if you can do that bit.
Okay, so I'm going to help you learn. I'm cycling from Bristol to Beijing.
Yeah,
right?
Or from England to China, maybe.
Or England to China.
Yeah, maybe that's better. Yeah.
So you say, मैं England से China cycle करके जा रहा हूँ.
जा रहा
हूँ.
Who?
Yes.
Like who?
Who, like who with an N at the end. Yeah.
Oh, but it's a very soft N.
Yeah. Who.
So मैं. Well, I'm getting.
Or I'm gonna make it easier.
No, it's fine. We can do this. I can do this. We got it. So, but just say it once more. So मैं England से China
cycle पर
England से China cycle पर
जा
रहा हूँ. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, मैं England से cycle पे China जा रहा हूँ.
Yay! The entire team is happy, and I'm so glad you did it even better than I can speak. Like, to be very honest.
That's clearly not true, but
I hope you'll remember it, though.
I will need to practice it a few more times. We'll do it at the end.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We can do more of those as well if there are any phrases that you feel like you're going to be using a lot.
Yeah.
I will help you learn all of those.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. And it's talking about your journey from Bristol to Beijing on a cycle. That alone itself is a very awe-inspiring experience in itself. But moreover, you are diagnosed with cancer and you have an underlying health condition. But what really sort of captivates me is that nothing really stops you, does it?
I mean, I'd start by saying I've had like a huge amount of support at like every step of the way, and trying to cycle, like without that support, I would have struggled immensely to get as far as I have. I'd have struggled to have got through treatment. I would have struggled to have got to the start line. And I certainly, have relied on a lot of support to get here to Pakistan. So the fact that I'm here is actually a testament to the amazing support that I've had from, there's a whole team behind this, like friends, family, volunteers. It's a team effort. I'm the bit that people see, but this is 100% a team effort.
Absolutely. I think it's very beautiful. The fact that you collect so much energy from all of this support that you're getting, and then moving forward in your life regardless of whatever situation comes in front of you. So you got diagnosed in 2018, and I'm sure it must have been a very difficult journey for you. How has your mindset changed over this course of time?
Yeah, so I don't know about you, girl, but when I grew up, I guess my life made a lot of sense in that when I worked hard at school, I got good results in exams, and when I did something nice to someone else, we became better friends, and when I was an asshole, well, it's pretty predictable that, it's not going to end so well. So there's life makes sense. You kind of know if you're going to work harder, you're going to climb the career ladder. If you, if you put the hours in, you're going to be able to, at some point buy a house or something like that. You're going to, at some point you'll marry, you'll have kids.
Have that normal, the plan that you have for your normal life.
Yeah, and these are things that we, I think we believe that we have a right to have as well. Right? We expect to have them, and if someone says you can't have them, you'd be like, well, that's not fair. And so when I was diagnosed with cancer at 24 years old, what it felt like was someone was saying, well, all my friends, they can live to 80 or 100, and they can have families, and they can have this long, long life. Luke, you're going to be the one missing out. And that was really, really difficult to work through, to think about, being the one person, being like, oh, I'm gonna, not gonna be able to live these things.
I understand, because I'm 24 right now.
Right.
And I can imagine that if, you never know anything, what happens in your life. But if something had happened to me like that, or if it ever happens to me at any point in my life, I know that the whole course of my life, what I envision for myself, the plans that I've made, they're going to completely change, because then, you have an end point in your life that you're gonna grow up, and you're gonna have, by this age, I should have a house, and by this age, I should be married, and then kids and everything. And then all of that rearranges, because now there's a time limit on it. So I absolutely empathize with that, and I understand that it must be so, so, so difficult for you. And that is exactly why I feel that your journey, the fact that I see so much light in you, and I see so much positivity radiating out of you, I think it's immensely beautiful. I really like that.
Thank you.
And that is why I feel it inspires other people as well. Because you put up this strong, you basically present yourself very strongly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'm incredibly fortunate. I'm alive. That's a really, really awesome starting point. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, I did not think. I thought it would be really unlikely for me to see Christmas. I thought it was going to be really unlikely for me to live 6 months. Because it was just very advanced. It was rare. The doctors didn't know if they could treat it, and it just looked very, very bleak. There was no reason to expect, and and it's a very difficult to treat cancer. It's not one of the good ones where there's lots of research and there are good chemo drugs. It's just not one of those types. So Yeah. It just... Yeah, where does that positivity come from? Yeah, so I guess from that starting point, being alive 3.5 years down the line is amazing. I shouldn't be here, more or less. I'm very, very lucky to be here.
Picking up where we left off, if you're comfortable talking about this, what form of cancer are you diagnosed with it? Is it terminal? Are you comfortable talking about that?
I mean, some people would think, you know, it's all just sort of definitions and stuff. You know, let's take the example of Lance Armstrong. He was diagnosed with testicular cancer. That is curable. You know, you can get treated and you can move on with your life. You know, my cancer isn't like that. I'm now in remission. I am loving my life, but I have no idea what the future holds. And I really don't know how long I have.
So, is there a chance you can still beat it? Or is the answer to that is...
Yeah, no, I have scans every 3 months or so. And each time I have a scan, I don't know if it's going to be bad news.
Okay, so that means it's good. That means you do have a chance beating it.
I mean, put it this way, I'm going to do my very best to die of something else. I'm going to be indirect with you because I don't think about it. I don't think it's helpful to think about some things in terms of like whether they're like, you know, terminal illnesses.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, we're all going to die of something.
Absolutely. Yes, you know, that is very true.
So you know, I think it's very interesting the kind of dialogue we use around cancer. When we talk about, you know, there are fights, there are battles, you know, there are struggles. There's this sort of this discourse of this war, right? And someone fought very bravely, was very courageous.
Yes.
And a lot of this implies that if you didn't win, if you didn't beat your cancer, then you're somehow weaker or less, you know, less motivated or something like that. And I think that's completely wrong.
Yes, I agree with that as well.
And you know, like no one ever, did you ever hear someone say, oh, they lost their fight against the heart attack? Like, no, like obviously not. So
it just comes and it takes you.
It comes and it takes you, and we're like, oh, well, that's part of life. So anyway, there's this term, cancer survivor. I'm sure you...
Can liver.
So I use the word can liver, exactly. Which, for me, is a much better word to use for someone with cancer.
Absolutely, and it should be that way.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree. I
do. I fully agree. Yeah. I feel like the only purpose was why I wanted to know if it was terminal or not was purely out of, I feel like just wanted to know that hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it's something that you can definitely 100% beat. Because obviously it was purely out of medical purposes that medically sometimes doctors tell you that it's terminal and it's not. But besides that, there was no other purpose of asking that question because when you have to die, you die. When you have to live, you live.
Yeah.
Is what I believe in. You can never tell that, oh, something may happen or may not happen. That's what life basically is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hope you agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Like it's, there's, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. So we're talking about life, we're talking about the uncertainty that comes with it. And what I really find interesting is that more often than not, people take their health very lightly. I see it about myself as well. I went for a run the other day and I ran for about 2 kilometers and I didn't run. I jogged, then I would walk, then I would jog, then I would run for like every 100 miles. Cool. And
100 miles, my goodness.
No, so,
you are a superhuman.
No, I'm sorry. But the point was that after when I was done with kilometers, the 2 kilometers, I was so out of breath and I felt this tightness in my lungs that I realized that I am not a healthy human being, and I do not take my health seriously. And that's the thing I see among everyone else as well, is the uncertainty that the life gives you. Only then you start to realize how important your life is and how much time you've wasted in your life. Which leads me to the question, do you think it's a person should live more in less time or live less in more time? What is your belief? That's the philosophical question I said I was gonna.
That's fun. I like that as a question. That's fun. I've never been asked that before. I mean, I think ideally you do both, right? And okay, we're having a philosophical discussion, so I think the real answer, and answering this as a mix of a scientist, as a social scientist, from a humanities perspective, it depends on how high that quality it is and how long that life is. So I'm being a bit pedantic. I'll give you a shorter answer at the end. But if you only had let's be extreme here, 5 weeks of amazing life, the best, most stupendous life you could ever think of, versus 100 years of pretty good life, I'd take the pretty good life, because that, obviously, the time in this instance outweighs. Okay, but on timescales that we're probably going to be talking about, I would say that I would probably put quality over quantity. And so if you could only have one, I think intensity and variety of experience are like the most valuable things that we can have. And to be truly rich, I believe we have a huge range of experiences and incredible friendships and deep relationships. I think those are some of the most important things. So I think a shorter life, but with those burning so incredibly brightly, rather than a longer life where everything's just a bit so-so. You don't experience.
So quality over quantity, basically. And then you yourself set the intensity and the variation of how intense you want that experience to be. Like, for example, in your case, you chose to cycle all the way from England to Beijing.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you have to be a certain amount of enthusiast, and you need to have that adventure in you to be able to come up with something like that.
Yeah, but this is only one way of living a rich and fulfilling life. And I think that's one thing that I really try and get across is like, this is my dream. But it's probably like no one else's. Like, there are parts of this that are really tough, quite boring, and I wouldn't expect anyone to want to do this. But my real message is like, everyone's got a dream inside them, and it's going to look different from everyone else's, and it's to pursue that. And for someone it might be, all sorts of, clubbing nights or something, or like going to the best DJs around the world. Like, for other people,
yeah,
it
like
might
I said, there are different variations.
Yeah, exactly. Those different variations.
The different everybody defines what they're living to the fullest. The meaning of that is it's very subjective. It varies from people to people.
Yeah.
And you chose yours, which is beautiful. Okay, now, like we talked earlier about how you have so much strength in you to move on with your life with such enthusiasm. You said you have a great support system. Who's your rock? Who is that? I mean, it could be one person or more than one, those people that you would really, really call your support system in this time.
I think I'm very lucky because I think it is a network. I don't think I can pull out just one person.
Of course, that's what I said. It doesn't have to be one person.
Okay, so my stony gravel beneath me, my rocks beneath me. Who are my rocks? I would say my mum, 2 or 3 very close friends, and my girlfriend. So,
okay, because that was my next question. I wanted to ask you if you have a girlfriend or are you married?
I'm not married and I have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend. That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's why you have had so much strength is because of them. So it's great. It's nice.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the next one. You have 15,000 kilometers under your belt, and when exactly did your cycling journey started? Because this is a pretty impressive number. And did this drive or this idea that you wanted to do this, was it always there?
So, in the back of my mind, for many years I've had this idea it would be cool to do a big cycle journey around the world. But it was kind of quite abstract and I wasn't that serious about it. And it was only when I was diagnosed with cancer that I thought, like, if I could only do one more thing in my life, what will that be? And tell you what, you know, sort of a cancer diagnosis like really sharpens your mind. And I was like, actually, if I've only got to do one more thing in my life, I want to cycle around the world. And that's why I started. I started on the 1st of January 2020, which was possibly the worst year in the last 100 years to try and cycle around the world.
Yeah. How long have you been away from home?
So I've actually literally I recently went back to the UK because I had my COVID jabs. So I needed to go back for that, and then also to see, you know, friends, loved ones, all that jazz. But before that, I was away from home for over a year. Over a year.
When was the first time you got your first bicycle, basically?
I mean, my own proper first bicycle, I think when I was about 7. It was this like shiny purple mountain bike. It was
purple.
It was purple, yeah. So there's sort of a bit of a theme with the pink, with the purple.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's great.
Love that.
Great.
Smashing the patriarchy.
Why not? Why not? I mean, yeah, there we go. You know,
exactly, I love that.
Men can wear pink.
Men can absolutely wear pink. I think this is a great message.
If you take away nothing else from this, men can wear pink
and have purple bikes.
Exactly.
It's I'm not even joking. I absolutely really support that people are so secure with themselves to wear pink and to have pink and purple bikes.
Yeah.
It should be a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, jokes aside.
How did your family take your decision to sort of, you know, cycle around the world? And I mean, I'm sure they would understand that you would want to live your dream, but to be honest, for them, it would be like, you know, we've only got a limited amount of time to spend with our son, or my boyfriend, or you, all of these things.
Yeah.
It would feel for them for you to leave for an entire year or all of that.
Yeah, no. So no, my parents are really amazing because they have never tried to sort of hold me back, and sort of whereas I was crossing like Central Asia, like one of the questions people ask me so many times is like, you know, what do your parents think? Why didn't they force you to stay back in the UK, basically? And I think they're really, really amazing because they know that they want me to be happy, essentially, and they know that I won't be happy if I'm just like living with them. So they want me to spread my wings, and I think it's like that really probably quite bittersweet thing as a parent, that you're seeing your child spread their wings, soar through life, and you're not part of it. You know, you hear about it, you see glimpses of it, but what you want to be is by their side, and you can't do that. So I think, you know, they're really amazing. But they have come out and joined me, I should say. Yeah. So my mum joined me in Georgia. My dad joined me in Germany. So they have experienced the trip as well.
I wanted to ask one more question. We talked about quality over quantity, right? You talked about it. So had 2018 never happened, do you think this fulfillment of your life that you're seeking right now would have happened in this short amount of time, or would it have happened at all, or would it have happened over the course of, you know, a regular person's 80 years or something?
So this cycle ride, you mean? Whether
Yes.
this would have happened?
This dream.
I like to think it would have happened.
What sort of life were you living before?
It's a good question. I mean, I see myself probably doing something like semi-conventional. So I think my plans were to like go into a kind of graduate scheme, consultancy job, and then work in like international development. Something like that. So like, you know, definitely travel was a part of it. Before I got diagnosed, I was working out in Siberia. Ever since I was 18, I've done a lot of traveling. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. So like travel and different languages and countries were a big part of my life. But I think I saw my way, you know, my path to be quite a conventional one, but being slightly unconventional within it, but not more than that. And I wouldn't have had the confidence or the impetus to go, you know what, I'm just going to do it completely my way. But everything is different, right? Because had I done that without being diagnosed with cancer, everyone would be like, what are you doing with your life, right? Like, why aren't you earning a proper salary and doing a proper job? But now, no one has ever asked me, why are you doing this? You know, like questioning this decision. No one's ever done that. Which is kind of mad at the same time. You know, like, that's also quite an odd thing that now everyone's kind of like, oh yeah, we get it. He can spend 2 years cycling his bike. But for anyone else, you know, your parents would be like, well, it's about time you got back and you started, you know, this proper job, and your friends would be like, God, he's not, you know, is he ever going to kind of get on the straight and narrow? So it's quite different.
So the reason why I got a little confused over there was as you were telling me your story about the little bike, I was about to ask you who taught you to ride a bicycle. And as we were talking, I completely forgot what question I was going to ask you. And then that's how I got thrown off my track completely. So yeah, that leads me to the question, who taught you how to ride a bike?
I think it was my dad and my grandfather. I've got like very vague recollections of being in the garden and them sort of like pushing me along and sort of falling over and pushing me harder and fall over, and at some point I learned.
Sweet. Have you ever been into motorbikes?
I've enjoyed it when I've ridden motorbikes. I haven't done very much motorbike riding. It's a little bit more complex in the UK to get your license and stuff. I think I worry I might kill myself on it. We were just like that much power between my legs. But yeah, intrigued and interested to sort of explore motorbikes in the future. But for me, they don't really, I love using my body. I love the physical sensation of using my muscles. And so even if I did motorbiking, I'd want to go for a run at the end of the day. So it wouldn't be enough.
Well, that's interesting, because in Pakistan, I think you must have noticed, we have a lot of motorbikes all around, and they're not even that complex. So maybe I hope you'll have your chance that somebody will help you ride a bike over here.
Yeah, no, it'd be great fun. Yeah. Love it.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, moving on to the next question, which is also a little philosophical, which is sometimes people want to achieve great things because either they want to have a legacy through which people can remember them, even after when they're gone or in their lives, and otherwise it's for purely humanitarian purposes. So which one is it for you? Is it either one of those by achieving big things, or is it both?
I think like the first thing I'd say is like anything that this ride achieves, and I said it before, yeah, it's not just me doing it, it's like a whole range of different people, yeah, and the fact that you guys are getting on board, and we've got DBTV, you know, this is the culmination of so many hours of work from so many different people. I think, you know, my answer to this is like, I'm incredibly fortunate to have a story now that if I share it, it has a positive impact, and I'm 27 years old. Like, it's pretty uncommon to be quite young and to have a story that is sort of tangibly inspiring and people want to hear. You know, and I love communicating it. I love sharing it. I love, you know, this morning I was at Froebel's school here in Islamabad.
Yes.
And the kids, they were brilliant, they were sparky, they had so many sort of ideas and interesting questions. And I get so much energy from that. So like, this is something I love doing. At times it's exhausting, but you know, to take this philosophical question in a different slant, I don't believe there's such a thing as like true altruism, like doing a completely selfless act. I think there's always a bit of self-interest, and I think that's absolutely fine.
Yep.
This is something that I love to do. I feel good about it, and I really hope that it has a positive impact throughout the world. And that's what motivates me.
That's how it is. I feel like that's how it is.
Yeah.
It should be humanitarian. It shouldn't be purely selfish. But of course, there should be specific things that you can take out of it for your own self. So it makes absolute sense to me. So tell us about why you were completing your Bristol to Beijing this journey, and most importantly, how did you decide to end at Beijing? How did you decide that you're going to start from England and end at Beijing?
What was the first part of the question again?
The first part was tell us why you were completing this ride.
Okay. I mean, I'm doing this cycle ride, and this really follows on from our last question. It's the original reason was because this was something that I thought would be amazing to do. Like, I wanted to cycle around the world. I wanted a really rich and varied set of experiences. So I did this for, like, you know, self-interested reasons. But as the ride has gone on, what has been giving me like a huge amount of reward and has had a huge positive impact is sharing this story. And so like one of the big things that I really try and do now through this ride is like show what is possible with cancer. And I think so many people think it's, you know, it means like death, or it means you have to lie in your bed. And I try and show, well, this is possible. And I invite other people on my tandem bike with cancer to join me. And so we're showing together what can be done with cancer. The reason I chose Beijing as the destination is because I always knew I wanted to cycle across Eurasia. I speak Russian, so I just was really excited to go through all the stans, including Pakistan.
But sadly, we don't speak Russian.
But sadly, you don't speak Russian. I mean, it's... Oh, okay, cool. That's brilliant. Yeah, we got it. Хорошо, ну, как у тебя? Отлично. Ага. Awesome. Oh, really? Oh, cool. That's awesome.
But you're Russian descent?
No. Yeah, so, but the reason I chose Beijing as a destination is it's sort of the far end of Eurasia from England, and I'm really interested in the Belt and Road Initiative, you know, the new Silk Roads and also the old Silk Roads. And I was really interested to see, well, how do the new and the old play alongside each other? What are the attitudes towards China as I cycle east? And I really wanted to end in China because China is going to be almost certainly leading the way, or a huge, huge influence on the 21st century. It's a country I've never been to before, and I at least want to experience it and make up my own mind about what I think about it.
Okay, so your journey has been facilitated by Oxford Pakistan program. How has this initiative helped you during your stay in Pakistan?
So Talha, who is a friend from Oxford, he has been really, really super in just organising a huge amount, like a very friendly presence to help navigate, you know, just how to, you know, setting up school visits, you know, how do you get to the Kunjurab Pass from Islamabad, just, yeah, all sorts of advice. And it's made the entrance into sort of Pakistan and sort of just understanding things like much easier and smoother. Yeah, and so I did a talk at the school that Malala set up in Shangla, you know, and that was very much through through Talha and the Oxford Pakistan partnership. So
Okay, so about Oxford Pakistan program, do you think initiatives and programs like these will help improve cross-cultural exchange between Pakistan and England? What do you think?
I mean, I absolutely hope so. I think the more people from different countries who meet each other in a sort of face-to-face environment and you discover that we're all human, and as the more that we move away from the headlines, the more we move away from the fake news, the more we move away from like just the sort of social media stream of inane articles, I think the better. So yeah, everything that does that is going to help.
Absolutely. So Luke, you have a growing audience in Pakistan now. Yeah.
Hi, growing audience.
That's Luke.
It's me. This is cool.
So now that you have grabbed their attention, what would you like to tell them?
First of all, shukriya. Pakistan Zindabad. It's been an amazing time here so far, so thanks to everyone. Go out and live your dreams. Create your own opportunities. No one is going to do that for you. And when you live your dreams, the reward, it's not about like bragging rights. It's not about telling your friends that you've got like the best life. It's literally that you are living your best life. And to me, that is the greatest reward possible. So go out there and do it.
Okay. So this was for Pakistanis. And now let's zoom out. And right now, I would like for you to imagine that the whole world can hear you.
Well, that's quite an intimidating thought, isn't it?
It's okay. It's fine. I think you can take that. You're a strong man. What would you like? What message would you like to convey to the whole world?
I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing to everyone else. We only have one life. It is incredibly precious, and we each have the choice and the opportunity to make as much of it as possible. Your dream's going to be unique. Go out, create that opportunity, live your dream.
Lovely. That's lovely. This was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for the time that you've given us to have this talk and this conversation. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the journey that you have to go through to get to Beijing. You're almost there, I guess.
I don't know. I think I've probably got another 6 months on the road, I think. So quite a way.
Halfway there.
Over halfway.
Over halfway
Over
there.
halfway.
Best of luck for the rest of the journey. That's
Thank you
all
so much.
Me and the whole DBTV production and our whole crew wishes you the best.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed our conversation. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.